Hey everyone, and welcome back to another lore video here on Prime & Go. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be exploring what one could expect to be subjected to should you be unfortunate enough to be captured alive by the Dark Eldar. Before we begin, I feel I should give you fair warning. The Darkkin and their activities are not for the faint of heart. So if torture, rape, mutilation and other pleasantries are not your cup of tea, I would recommend you stop watching now. You have been warned. With that out of the way, let's set the stage. Imagine yourself living in the 41st millennium. What you do or what your profession is unimportant. You could be a standard citizen or maybe a proud member of the Planetary Defence Force. But what is important for our journey is that you are still human and not an Astartes. Because an Astartes is a whole different kettle of fish, and what they could be subjected to is far different to what you as an ordinary citizen would. An example being, an Astartes is supposed to be a superior warrior, therefore he will be pitted up against witches and other Kabbalite warriors to actually test their skill against an Astartes, and they would want to basically pull him apart and show him how weak he is. You as a mere human, they're just going to torture you and make you suffer. So that is what we're going with. Now the fun begins. One night, your place of residence, be it a planet or a mining facility in an asteroid belt, goes silent, and before you realise what's going on, the night is filled with the screaming and shrieking of your fellow inhabitants. As dark light weapons tear through your colony's defences with sickening ease, and splinter weapons leave other colonists writhing in pain from the slightest of scratches. You, my friend, are in the middle of a Dark Eldar raid. Now, it is important to note that when the Darkkin ride to war, it is not for territory or any other trivial pursuit. No, they are raiding your little corner of the galaxy to make you suffer, to cause pain and destruction, and ultimately to collect slaves. And a few resources as well. You see, with the twisted desires and needs of the Dark Eldar, you are essentially cattle to be hunted and slaughtered in the most brutal way possible, so that they can feed on your pain, anguish and terror. So, back to you. This is probably the first time you've ever seen this kind of Xenos breed before. Even if you're a member of the Planetary Defence Force, you may have only heard rumours. Seeing the horror they have unleashed, you may run and hide, or take up your favourite last carbine and head out to purge yourself some Xenos scum. Because, at the end of the day, you're a superior human, right? Well, I'm sorry to say, either way, in this story you are doomed, and you are going to be captured. So what happens now? Well, you think anything I've said so far is pretty bad? Well, you have underestimated the Darkkin, and from here on, things get really twisted. To start with, you are going to be transported from your home into the webway and ultimately to the dark city known as Commorragh. Or Commorragh, or however else you want to pronounce that. It's been pronounced so many different ways. Upon your arrival, you will be greeted by roaring crowds of slaves, slavers, and anyone shown interest in your new master's real space raid. You see, for the Darkkin, a real space raid is a big deal. That is basically when they leave Commorragh and actually raid a planet outside of the webway. Real space. Webway is not real space. That's where the term comes from anyway. It allows for an influx of new slaves, material, and improve the standings for all those who took part. For in the Dark City, reputation is everything. You must be feared amongst other things in order to survive, lest one of your rivals decides to take everything you own. But let's keep the focus on you and leave the politics and the inner workings of the Dark Eldar society for another time. So if you want to hear about the inner workings of the Dark Eldar, leave it in the comment section below and I'll make a video on it. So, now this is where we must decide what type of citizen you were. Were you the average Joe, or maybe someone of influence? Or maybe you was a member of the Planetary Defence Force, a hardened veteran, maybe a real badass who's like a hardened criminal. Let's go with a badass character. You know, the criminal guy, the real guy has seen some stuff. You know, the one that you won't expect to break easy. As the weak will not be around long enough to be worth considering, so you are now up for sale, or it could be that your leader of the raid wants you for himself. Either way, your fate is going to be far worse than the average Joe, for the Dark Eldar love to break the strongest of slaves. They pride themselves on it, whereas Joe will probably just end up mutilated and dead within hours, days at most. You, my friend, are truly screwed. Now, you may be thinking, whatever, I'll be fine. So as I continue this story, please try and imagine this happening to yourself. While Joe will just be killed in the most brutal and painful way possible, you are in for the long haul. The Dark King will want to break you mentally. They'll even go as far as to give you false hope to prolong your torment. They will use your fears against you, your dreams, your ambitions, your feelings. As a badass, you will endure all the physical torment and believe that you're paying back tenfold. You will be mutilated. You could suffer loss of limb, organs, genitals. You may have your lungs removed and replaced with a device that only produces enough oxygen to barely keep you conscious. All the while, your lost body parts are displayed in front of you, still twitching, still filling with air, still alive. You are tormented with the idea that all you have to do is kneel before your tormentor to have them restored. But your knees have been fused. Your spine is fused. You physically cannot bend. Think Ramsay Bolton, but infinitely worse. Now, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched Game of Thrones. Unlike Ramsay, you will not just be pinned down and have Mr. Winky removed in a swift act of terror. Oh no. The Dark King will do it slowly. Maybe over days, weeks, months. Maybe they will mutilate you and leave Winky rotting while still attached. All the while tempting you with your deepest sexual desires. In the end, just the thought of a sexual act will cause you agonizing pain. And in an effort to end your own torment, you'll rip Winky from your body and be done with it. After all, you are a badass, right? It's only a body part. But something is wrong. As you look at your discarded wood, you see no rot, no corruption, no sign of the injury that had been tormenting you for what feels like years. Quickly you will realise it was all a trick, and ultimately you yourself are responsible for your own mutilation. For the Dark Eldar play with your mind. They induce toxins and use basically suggestive means to make you believe something is happening. So just imagine that for the last year, all this torment you have received didn't actually happen. Nothing is beyond the Dark King. After all, it was their decadence that birthed the Chaos God Slaanesh. Before we continue, I'm going to explain a little bit about the reasons behind why the Dark Eldar indulge in such depravity. Now, I'm not going to go into the entire backstory in this video. If you want to hear about that, please leave it in the comment section below and I'll be sure to add it in. Just the reasons why they act the way they do. In basic terms, the Chaos God Slaanesh has a rather large appetite for Dark Eldar souls. And with the Dark Eldar still lavishing themselves with all kinds of emotions and actions, their souls draw a lot of attention, and slowly are devoured. To stop this, they feed on the emotions of their victims, rejuvenating themselves, and using this absorbed energy to essentially be devoured in place of their own soul. A good description of this was given by Phil Kelly during the announcement of the Dark Eldar, and that was, imagine a bowl covered in holes, so it's got holes all the way through it, and it's full with water. As you can imagine, the water's draining out, and as the water drains out, the Dark Eldar seek to refill the bowl with your suffering. So in short, rather than give up their twisted ways, the Dark King have found a way to continue their life, at your expense of course. Now let's get back to you. At this point, how do you know what is real and what isn't? Until now you were convinced your torture was real. It felt real. Yet aside from the self-mutilation, being self-mutilation, you are unharmed. What about time? How long have you been in captivity? It felt like months, but now it only seems like hours. Your new friends tell you it's only just started, but are they lying? You cannot trust him, can you? But is it real? Is he even real? Remember, the Dark King want the most suffering possible from you, not just to break you and be done with it. They could kill you at any moment, right? I mean, look what happens to average Joe. But why would they when they are using you to rejuvenate themselves? But because they want to. Your position is hopeless, all sense of time is lost, You will begin to lose grip on reality. Your insanity is your new destination. The Dark Kin will do everything in their power to make that journey as slow and as painful as possible. They won't just want you to break today. They want you to break in a month, so they can enjoy your torment all the way along. And that, everyone, is just a snippet of what you could expect to experience should you be captured by the Dark Eldar. Like I said in their codex, pray they don't take you alive. Now, this was an entirely unique scenario that I made myself, and there are far worse things in the books themselves. This is just an example of what you could be subjected to. So, thanks very much for listening. Remember to hit that subscribe button to be in for a chance to win our next giveaway at 250 subscribers, and we'll also have another one at 500. Don't forget to like this video if you have liked, and comment below. And if this video has given you a reason to stock a Dark Eldar collection, please check out Titus Miniature Painting Service for professional painting commissions, and he'll also give you 10% off all orders over £100 when you quote Prime and Go. So, until next time guys, see ya!